Hello, Kelly.
Morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the farm.
You look like you've been doing exercises.
Yeah. Sick of exercises out here, but it's all worth it.
I
They're
hear
coming
you.
in. I've worked hard since, January on growing these tomatoes from seed. I've kept them alive. Tom's helped, of course. I can't do it on my own. And today I want to tell you about the purple Cherokee. The purple Cherokee was the first heirloom tomato that I grew probably 10 years ago that changed the way I felt about eating tomatoes.
Why is that?
The flavor took me back to my childhood and the tomatoes that my grandparents grew. We are very fortunate. We live on the farm that has been in my family for 5 generations, where my grandparents, where we lived until I was 6 years old. We lived here from my birth till 6, and then we moved to town in New Albany. So it's like when I tasted that first purple Cherokee, it was like coming home. I'm home. I have found home. And couldn't believe the difference in the flavor. It's beautiful flavor. Now, it can have the core that we don't like, but it's worth it to me to grow them. And I don't know, the first thing I learned, the first book I bought about growing tomatoes was by Greg LaHua. And the name of his book is Epic Tomatoes. I was a new farmer, beginning female farmer is what they call me. And I didn't have any money to spend on books. I mean, this farming stuff can get expensive. And I was with my friend Beth Saul. We were at the TSC, and I saw the book Epic Tomatoes. I said, "God, I should buy that." She was like, "Buy it." I said, "It's $25." She said, "Buy the book." And I did, and I felt so guilty about it. But that book is my tomato Bible. So if you're into tomatoes, you want to learn all you can about growing, saving seeds, recipes, they're in Greg LaHua's book. You can listen to him. He has a podcast. He has a Facebook page. He is fabulous. Yes. He grows all his tomatoes in grow bags or hay bales on his driveway. He doesn't have any soil, good soil. This year he did. He moved, so now he's starting over. But anyway, he named the purple Cherokee. There is a organization called Seed Savers, and someone in the Seed Savers got this seed from someone in Tennessee, and they sent it to Craig and said, "Grow this out and see what you think." So he did, and it's a dark tomato, full of flavor, and he named it Purple Cherokee because the story goes the person in Tennessee got the seed from someone who got the seed from someone who was a Cherokee.
Wow.
Oh yeah, all of these tomatoes are living history. They all have a story. So the purple Cherokee goes back to the Cherokees, and Craig named it. But you see, they're coming on.
They're big.
Yeah, I got some inside that are beautiful. These have been the prettiest tomatoes. Okay, now, Evelyn and I have been talking about saving seeds. These are heirlooms, so that means they're open pollinated and you can save the seed. You need to save the seed from the first fruits because you don't want them to get mixed up with another, just in case a bee just come along and goes to that Italian, then he sits on this one, you could get them mixed up, which would be a perfectly fine tomato. But if you want a pure purple Cherokee, you need to pick the first tomatoes, hoping that a bee didn't cross-pollinate them. So these are all from seeds that I saved.
Wow.
I'm not sure how true they are to purple Cherokees, but there is a college who is studying the DNA of seeds to just see how far off the strains have gotten. Anyway, they look pretty good so far. Some of them look like purple Cherokees, some of them don't.
When you were talking about the flavor,
Oh,
what
it's
kind
dark,
of flavor?
Okay, it's a dark tomato. The balance is there. You know, when you talk about a tomato flavor, I mean, you can get into like you're drinking a fine wine.
Mm-hmm.
The flavor is there. It's a balance of acid, sweet. It's just balanced.
I have ate some tomatoes that were so sweet. It was unbelievable.
They were probably too ripe. Were they ripe?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they get sweeter the longer they sit.
It was good.
Mm-hmm. Well, I like mine more on the acid side, but they're all. Some people think some tomatoes are more acid than others. They're not. They all have the same amount of acid. It's just some have more sweet that covers up the acid. It just depends when you pick them too. Fascinating.
And so, are these just an eating tomato for you, or do you
Yeah,
cook
I
with
eat them.
them? Or
I slice them and eat them. They're great. And or you can make beautiful caprese salads with them because you can change. You know, you can have a red tomato, yellow tomato, purple tomato, or dark. It's dark. It makes such a pretty salad with your basil and your mozzarella.
how many people are so surprised about the taste of them the first time?
Oh, it was like, yep, this takes me back. This is what a tomato's supposed to taste like. You know, they all the people who grew up eating tomatoes with their grandparents, they're like, yep, this is it. So I always grow purple Cherokee. It's one of my favorites.
I had never seen one before
Yeah.
until I had one of yours.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're not suffering as much as those we looked at last week.
Yeah.
So is it just the hardiness of them?
I guess so. Which ones did we look at last week?
The Italians?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it could be. Or it could be I sprayed these better. These may have gotten better spraying than the others. You know, you have to try to be consistent. But I could have missed a few leaves over there. Yeah, I highly recommend you try purple Cherokee. Also, you know, if you go to a grocery store or a restaurant or somewhere that has a tomato you really like, I guess a grocery store or a market would be better. You can save the seeds. Like, you know, somebody's got an unusual tomato in their market, save the seeds and see what happens.
And tell us again how to do that.
Cut it in half when it's fully ripe and squeeze out the seeds into a cup. If it's thick, add a little water, swish it around, put the name on it. That's what I'm bad about. Put the name on there, cover it with a paper towel and let it sit. Let it ferment. And then it stinks horribly. Don't let the flies will get in it if you don't cover it. And then about a week it's ready. And you pour off the fermentation, put them on a paper towel, dry them out. Ready to go.
Okay, so we've learned about Cherokees this week, purple Cherokees.
All right, the other one I have in here that's a goodie is the brandy wine.
We'll get it next week.
Okay.
Yay. All right, thank you, Kelly.
You're so welcome. Happy matering!
The Cotton States Baseball League was started in 1903 as a D league for the Major League Baseball in South Mississippi along the coast. And it's been in and out of existence since then. It's been stopped by pandemics. It's been stopped by wars. And the 12 years here in New Albany is the longest stint the Cotton States has ever had consecutively. And we're pretty proud of that and have it here in New Albany. We've got 10 college teams this year with players representing over 40 different colleges and from 7 different states.
I'm Finn Snyder. I'm from Bozeman, Montana. I play for Umpqua Community College in Roseburg, Oregon. Baseball, just the competitiveness and the preparation and the memories you make and the fun you have, the friendships you make, that's, to me, it's the game of life and America's pastime. So that's kind of altogether what makes baseball such a great sport. I've been playing since I was about 5. I started in T-ball in Southern California. My dad was my coach for a long time, so he also played at Cal State Fullerton as a pitcher, so I grew up around baseball my whole life. Been playing ever since, and want to keep playing as long as possible. I would encourage them to actually play multiple sports and be as athletic as possible. I think if you grow up as an athlete first, later in life you make it easier on yourself to play baseball or basketball, football, whatever sport you want to play. Just be as athletic as possible and as diverse as possible in the sports that you play when you're younger.
We have Coach Bates is coaching on third. He's been here, and we'll get his interview in a little bit, but he is next weekend will be his 400th game to coach in the Cotton States League.
My name is Greg Bates, and I'm the head coach of the Tribe, the Cotton States Baseball League. This is my 10th season with them. I've been involved with baseball since I was 6 years old as a player, coach, evaluator, all except for 3 years. And those 3 years, I wanted to watch my son play high school baseball. These guys, they grind all during the season. So my approach to it is let them have fun. Be part of a team. There's no pressure on these guys, not on our side. I just want them to have fun. If I see something that they need to correct on, I'll pull them off to the side and tell them, but basically these guys are pretty polished, and they're a good group of guys. If I had a piece of advice, it would be to have fun playing. Just have fun. If you go out there and, expecting to make an error or something, it's going to happen. I love this league right here because they're so polished, but I would think really my favorite is working with the little guys. They come in, they look at you, they just want to get better. They're so coachable, and they're so excited when good things happen. And just being around them at the early stages of their careers, it's very gratifying, especially when they have some success.
How did you get Cotton States in New Albany?
We were researching collegiate leagues, and there was a Cotton States was in existence in Jackson at the time, and they were going out, and we were like, well, let's just use Cotton States and keep it going. That's how we got it. And it started out as 4 teams, 4 college teams, and there was just a plethora of players in our area that didn't have a place to go to play baseball in the summer. They were too old for Legion ball and couldn't afford to go to Cape Cod or some of the Missouri League. We put it out there, and it's sort of like the Field of Dreams. You build it, they will come, and all of a sudden they came, and it's grown every year, with this being our most attended and most players ever on our 12th year.
We talked to a young man from Montana a while ago. Is he the player that's been the furthest since we've had Cotton States here?
That's a good question, and no, he's not. We've had players from Michigan. We've had players from California. We've had an international player from Jamaica who actually spent a couple of summers here with us.
From Northwest Community College, third baseman
and
number
still
18,
keeps
Joel
up.
Wilkinson.
A lot of these players, they become family, and we keep up with them and follow them throughout their careers. A lot of them go on to coach, and a lot of these players, and especially these college players, will end up coaching in our league. Today is the beginning of our high school league, and most of the high school leagues teams are coached by players who are actually playing this year. So a lot of these players that have aspirations to go on and be a coach when they can't play anymore. So this gives them a start in the coaching profession too.
My name's Andy Dillard, and I'm the head coach of the Tallahatchie Rascals Wooden Bat League here in New Albany, Mississippi. Been doing it for about 10 years. I recently moved on from coaching a local high school team at Hickory Flat, and grew up in a baseball family. My dad played Major League Baseball, was drafted by the Red Sox out of Ole Miss in 1972. I got a younger brother, Tim Dillard. If there was a season right now, he'd be playing AAA ball with the Texas Rangers organization. I played ICC, played at Delta State here in Mississippi. My dad, he's from Saltillo here, grew up on minor league. He coached minor league baseball pretty much through my entire childhood. And that's just all I've ever really known. Just competing. Preparation and competing. I've had a lot of guys that are super talented, didn't put up good numbers, and I've had a lot of guys that didn't seem to have a lot of talent, but worked really, really hard and made themselves into something. So I would say it's that competitive edge, and just coaches don't make players, players make players.
And it's a really neat dynamic. As you'll see later, we'll go over to the high school fields, but for these high schoolers in between games come over and hang out with these college guys and get to talk to them, and they really look up to them, and it's a nice mentorship that kind of happens in the Cotton States. And then later in July, we'll add our junior high league, and the junior high kids, high school kids, and college kids will all play at the same time.
Wow.
And it's really neat. And it's neat to watch in between games all the high school kids come over and watch these college kids.
I love the part about the mentorship.
It's really neat. These, it's one thing to play the game, but then when you go try to coach it, it really makes these college kids really have to think about how to communicate the certain skills and techniques that they know, and I think it makes them a better player too when they're able to coach.
All right, I'm Blake Dallas. I go to Christian Brothers University, and I'm a pitcher. My longest pitch game, I probably got up to 140 or so it was a long game. Yeah, we didn't have anybody in the pen, so it was just kind of, it had to be that way. I've been playing since about 7 or 8, just with a family and stuff like that.
Sam, what's your favorite position?
The furthest away from home plate as possible. When I played, I liked the outfield. I played some shortstop and catcher. I was never a pitcher, though. That's a little too close to the batter for me. Everybody likes shortstop. And you'll find out, as you've interviewed a lot of these players, they're all really good athletes. And they've all played shortstop at some point in their career. And then they just find they do whatever they can to get on the field. And whether that's transitioning to outfield or second base or whatever, they find their place. And the unique thing about this league, it's a wooden bat league, and it is very difficult to hit a baseball, but it's really difficult to hit a baseball with a wooden bat.
Right. I didn't realize until today that it was a wooden bat.
My name is Christian Busby, and I usually play left field.
Where do you play?
At Freer-Hardeman University. It is in Henderson, Tennessee. I've been playing since I was 8 years old, so it's been a while. So, yeah. Growing up, I used to play second and short. But then I got moved to the outfield when I got into high school because I was like one of the fastest players. So just moving to the outfield because I could track everything down. So played left, right, center, a little bit of infield. So I'm just about everywhere. The first time I hit a home run, it was in Memphis, and we was playing in a tournament. 13 years old, and I hit it over the road, and everybody was stoked. It was crazy.
It really makes them a better batter when they get back to school and use the aluminum bat because the difficulty.
Harder, yes.
Yes.
Swing harder, and they gotta not as quite. The range doesn't seem to be as big with a aluminum bat as it does. I mean, a wooden bat as it does aluminum bat.
Correct. We've estimated it's about probably a 20 to 30 foot difference with the power you swing with a aluminum bat. It's going to go that much further than with a wooden bat. So it really makes them a better hitter.
I had a player tell me one time that he liked to swing with a wooden bat during practice. That way, when he picked up an aluminum bat, it was like he practiced with weights.
Yeah, that's true.
So it improves their skills. I think that's great.
And the other thing, these kids go back to their college, and they're there in this. They play fall ball with practice, and then when it gets to the season, if they're not starting, they don't necessarily get all the reps they can. In Cotton States, everybody plays, everybody bats, and it gives them a chance to get their reputations in and make them a better player. And especially this year, and this is part of the reason this has been such a big year for us is because of the pandemic, and which shut baseball down. And so these kids were hungry to get out here and get some swings.
I'm Taylor Clark. I am associate head baseball coach at Blue Mountain College, and I also get the opportunity to coach the Explorers here at Cotton States League, collegiate woodbat. Yeah, I've been involved with baseball for a while with my playing history in Arkansas, and then also now being in Blue Mountain. This is going on my 8th year coaching here, so just thankful for the opportunity to do that as well. There's a lot of local talent that are high caliber players from the area. I would fail to mention all of them, but just a few. Kyle Krieger, who's from Corinth, Mississippi, who plays baseball at Louisiana Tech. We've got Chris Swanberg from the University of Memphis, and Anthony Lipsey, which is right down the road from Myrtle, is playing with us at Blue Mountain College. So, and then there's a lot more, but so thankful to have those guys and be able to spend some time with them. I think baseball, you have to work at it. It's a sport of failure. 3 out of 10 times, the best players get hits. So 3 out of 10, so you fail 7 times. And commitment, it takes commitment to bounce back and to be dedicated to a sport of baseball. I think just work hard, take every day, a day at a time, give it your best, be the best you can be where your feet are, and be committed to whatever you do in life, not just baseball.
I'm Andrew Davis. I play at LaGrange College, and I play everywhere. It's in LaGrange, Georgia. It's about an hour outside of Atlanta. Since I was 3, my brother was playing, and I didn't like sitting in the stands, so I went out there and started playing with him. So I've always played up with him, shortstop. That's where I'm playing today. My brother played here last year. I don't know how he found it, but I was going to play in the Sun Belt, but that got canceled. So I decided to come out here with him. I live in LaGrange. I live on campus at LaGrange. Josh, our buddy, we went to high school together. He's got a hunt cabin in Sardis, so we stay out there.
I'm Coach Jeff King. I live in Nettleton. I coach the North Delta Dealers for the College League. This will be my 8th season. I was a high school baseball coach, and I knew they were playing here, so I just asked to be involved. To not specialize, play as many sports as possible. It helps each other. So if they're thinking about just specializing in baseball, I'd recommend just playing all the sports they can while they're young. Well, it helps you stay in shape for one thing, and it also hones your skills better because some of the skills carry over from sport to sport. If you lose one day, you turn around and play the next day, and if you win, that game before is gone. So, it's good that you get to play every day, where in other sports you don't get to play every day. 14 innings out here for the championship in 2015. Last summer I had a kid hit a grand slam to win the game, walk off to win a game. We play hard, and sometimes that offends some people. The way we play, we take out people at second base, things like that.
My name is Jim Muncie. I live here in New Albany, Mississippi, and I am the scorekeeper and PA announcer for the Cotton States Baseball League. This is either my 10th or 11th year. I think I started the second year we had the league, just scoring games, and moved over here doing this probably the second or third year I was here. So I've probably been doing this 8 or 9 years. I started playing baseball, started playing t-ball when I was 6 years old. I grew up in Jackson, Mississippi, played baseball all the way through high school, and my first job I ever had, I worked for the Jackson Generals minor league team. They were the AA team for the Houston Astros, and I was a bat boy for 3 years. I love getting to watch baseball. It's springtime, baseball, they go together. It's kind of what happens. But, I teach at the high school, and so getting to see these kids play high school baseball, and then the ones who go on to the next level, getting to watch them on the college field or watch them play high school baseball in the summer and the fall. I just love being around it and be able to give back to the game. It's baseball at its purest form. It's wooden bat. You have kids who are out here trying to get better, trying to make it at the next level. For the college league, you have a high number of junior college kids, and these junior college kids are trying to get themselves better to go on to a 4-year program to continue their baseball career. Because, that's ultimately what it's about. You want to keep playing baseball. And so these kids are out here for the love of the game, trying to get better, and they're not getting paid for it. They're paying to play baseball, so you're watching them give everything they got to try to get better. I do the PA, I do the scorekeeping, but I also help kind of coordinate employees. I think I checked a minute ago. We've got 12 this summer as of right now. So you've got, any given weekend, you've got to have 4 scorekeepers for the 4 fields, a hostess or somebody that's taking pictures and editing pictures. This season it's disinfecting dugouts. Normally it's, taking water to the dugouts, taking baseballs to the field if they need it. And, everybody can't work every day, so you have to have a group of kids. And that's one thing, being at the high school every day, you make relationships with these kids, and they're like, hey, I'd be interested in doing this. And so you're able to, set them up with a job. They love being around baseball, being outside, and so it's great.
I'm Frank Dodds. I'm the Director of Baseball Operations for the Cotton States Baseball League. Sam and Clark had the original idea, and then they reached out to me, and I said, if those 2 gentlemen are involved in it, I want to be a part of it. And they had a great concept, great idea, and cooperation with the city and sponsors, and those parts are so important to us to this day. Is we can't do this without the cooperation of the city and the local sponsors, and we're trying to achieve something at a very big scale. To have 10 college teams, players from 9 different states, players that have moved here in the past from Puerto Rico, from Montana this year, from as far away as California, from they moved the North Dakota player, and they move here and they have a great experience. And one of the reasons is because the people of New Albany, people of this area, as well as the cooperation with the city and our great sponsors that help us do this.
How many nights a week are y'all?
For the college league, we're here 4 nights a week. We add in the high school league, we'll eat up another 2 nights. So typically from about middle of the summer on, we're going to be here 6 nights a week, and we'll try to keep Wednesday night free. We used to be able to keep Friday night free, but we're not going to be able to do that this year just because we have more teams than we've ever had. We're only supposed to have 24 teams. We have 26 teams. We had to get creative with our scheduling. But we have great coaches up and down, particularly in the college league, and they help out a lot too and give us ideas about feedback from their players and how to do these things each year. We changed slightly. One of the things we changed this year is we're playing the college teams play either Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, or Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And that allows kids 4 or 5 hours away to have a job during the week and then just come for the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And they don't have to miss time away from work, and that's important to a lot of them. We try to wrap up by the end of July. This week, just the way the calendar fell, we're going to actually go into the August 2nd and 3rd, should be our league championship series. We will have a tournament for the college guys as well as the high school guys as well as the junior high guys who will be joining us a little bit later in the summer. They each will have a tournament. So right now during the regular season, you're playing for seeding, and then based on how you finish the regular season, you'll get to play in the tournament. We've had seeds as low as 5 or 6 or 7, just didn't play real well, but we're getting better. And that's what we really emphasize. It doesn't matter if you win as long as you're getting better. And some of those teams turn it on toward the end of the summer, and we have some surprises. The 5th seed in our college league, and that year we only had 5 seeds. They won the entire tournament. We only had 5 teams that summer, and they came from the bottom and just had lost a lot of one-run games, but were getting better and learning some things about themselves and each other, and they won the tournament at the end. And so we were happy for them and excited. Be devoted, be dedicated, get better, do those type things. And if you will take those lessons from baseball or football or any other sport and apply it to work, to church, to school, to your family, those lessons are universal. They will carry over and help you in life, whether you go on and play professionally or not. The lessons of baseball, dedication, devotion, teamwork, communication, those will help you in all aspects of life. CottonStatesLeague.com is the easiest. Our parent organization is MississippiSelectSports.com. That'll get you to all of our websites. We're also on Facebook at Cotton States League, Instagram, Cotton States League, also on Twitter at Cotton States. So we try to get as much information out to the players, coaches, the fans. I know you saw that we were doing live streaming this year. We've had to make quite a few adjustments this summer given the COVID situation, but we're taking advantage of more and more technology all the time. And so that's an exciting little wrinkle for us that somebody, a grandmother or grandfather in Montana or wherever they may be, could watch the Vimeo, the live stream of the game. The one piece of advice I would say about the Cotton States Baseball League is whether you want to coach, whether you want to play, whether you want to sponsor and get your name put out there, because we're got 1,000 people here every Saturday, every Sunday, and they're listening to the PA. And if you wanted to sponsor, it's a great way to reach kids all across North Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Arkansas, but particularly North Mississippi. We have so many players that play in our high school league, even from Alabama and Tennessee. But if I had another business in North Mississippi, I would want to be involved. I would want to be around these coaches and these players. And that's the other thing that we liked about baseball is that it's a game that you can go out there and try to get better. You lose, you get to play again the next day. And I know I heard Coach Jeff King say that. Where in football, you only get to play once a week, so that loss stays with you for a little while. But baseball, we're out here 3 days a week. Each team is out here 3 days a week. We're out here 6 days a week, so we have a park full. And again, we thank our sponsors so much, but we thank the city of New Albany. Couldn't do it without them. Couldn't have even started without their original commitment 12 years ago. True story, when I met with my commanding officer to tell him that I was getting out of the Navy, it was because I was missing too much Little League baseball. But I didn't know it was going to be 6 days a week, because I salute those men and women who make a career of the military, but going away for 9 months at a time is tough on school and church and baseball. And that was the conversation, this precise conversation I had with my commanding officer when I got out, was I appreciated everything and that we had done together, Desert Storm and all those things. But I started having little boys, and I was afraid to miss Little League baseball. So.